Ciao and welcome back to Pastamore, Pasta with Love. I'm Chef Joe Mele and today is September 10th, which means today is the day that I'd like to take a moment and just wish well all my friends and family down in Florida who are facing Hurricane Irma. In honor of that, I actually have my Palm Beach chef coat on today. So just sending out prayers and love to all the people down there. Wish them well. They're strong. I know they'll make it through it. So with that being said, let's move on to the next segment of Pastamore. What I've decided to do is take each region of Italy, go through each region one by one, and pick out recipes and foods, ingredients that are indigenous to that area. So I figured the best way to start is go right to the center of Italy and to the capital of all Italy and start with Rome. One of the kind of forgotten about recipes until recently, it's called Cacio Pepe, okay, which basically means pasta with cheese and black pepper. It is trending now, it's hot, it's what's new in the terms of the masses. So I thought a great way to incorporate that into Pastamore is to make a fresh pasta with peppercorns in it. Normally this dish is made with a dry pasta like a spaghetti or a bucatini and just created with the sauce. So I thought that we would incorporate that, we would take those ingredients and further represent them in our fresh pasta dough. So I'm going to take whole peppercorns, I'm going to crush them up, I'm going to mix them in with the durum flour and the eggs, so we're going to create an actual black pepper pasta to do this dish in. That just compounds that flavor even more and gives a great presentation. Alright, so how do we get our peppercorns from the whole state into crush? I'm not going to just throw them in the processor, they would just spin around, they wouldn't crush up. So what we do in the restaurant business is we take a saute pan or we take a small sauce pot, put our peppercorns in the middle of our cutting board, and with the bottom of the pan we're just going to just run them over the top of the peppercorns and we're going to crush them up. Now you can see that they've broken down, but they aren't really fine pepper. You want that cracked peppercorn look to it. Okay, so that's just about where I need it to be. Okay, so I'm going to take those, okay, and then we're going to mix them into here. So I have 1 pound, obviously, as we remember, 1 pound of durum flour. Okay, I got my 5 eggs. So we're going to put in our peppercorns, okay, and then drop in our eggs, and then you know the drill. All right, we'll turn on our machine, let it get all blended. Then we'll take it, we'll knead it, rest it as usual. Make sure they get well dispersed throughout the dough. I want to make sure I get a good mixture, good balance of peppercorns to pasta dough. Check it. Just move it around a little bit. There's still a few wet spots in here, so I'm going to give it another couple spins. Now it's starting to come together as a dough. Now we usually dump it out onto our cutting board, our table. Take out the blade first. We're not making red pasta today. Alright, so this we're going to knead back into a dough. And any loose flour, pepper, right, we're going to incorporate right back in. Knead it into a dough ball, and then we're going to rest it. Basically do it, and there's nothing left on the table, okay? So you can see it's well distributed throughout the dough. There's lots of little black specks. We're going to wrap this. And we're going to let it rest, okay? Now, fortunately for us, we have a rested dough already, okay? Okay, so we've got a dough that's rested, and we're going to run it through, make our sheets as usual, and we're going to simulate a spaghetti, like noodle. Okay, we're going to use the fine cutter, the tagliatini, if you remember. Okay, but I'm not going to run it through really, really fine. I'm going to leave it with a little bit of bite to it. Okay. So our dough is nice and rested, pliable yet firm. Cut it into fours again. Keep that covered. Okay. Start rolling it through. Look at that. You can see those specks of black pepper in there. Little dusting of the durum. The more I roll it, the more the black pepper gets spread out into the pasta dough. You can see, okay? Okay, a little bit of, now, I did not, you could tell by the size, I didn't go all the way down to where I normally go with this. I leave it a little bit thicker, just so there's a little chew to the pasta, because we're going to finish cooking this in the water. I'll talk about the sauce in a minute, okay? So, leave my sheets a little bit longer. We're going to roll out one more, okay? For the amount that we're making today. Now this sauce that we're going to do has very, very few ingredients. All right, sometimes less is more, and this is the case with this recipe. Okay, we got some black pepper, some butter, some pecorino romano. And it's a quick, as long as it takes to cook the pasta almost, is about the time it takes to make the sauce. All right, let's roll one more through today. As soon as the machine responds, which, there it is. is it necessary to make fresh pasta for this dish? Absolutely not. You don't have to go through all that we're doing right now, okay? I just thought it would be a cool way to show you what else you could do with fresh pasta. Okay, so this was a little bit bigger piece. I'll probably get 3 out of this one. A little dusting, okay? Then we're going to switch gears. I'm going to put on our fine tagliarini cutter. Okay. So, okay, so we've got our spaghetti-like pasta, okay? We're going to let that just sit off to the side. And now I'm going to walk you through how do we make that sauce. Okay, so we're going to grab our 2 burners. Alright, so in the one, obviously, we're going to have boiling salted water. Alright, haven't added the salt yet. So let's talk about ingredients here. Okay, we've got obviously Pecorino Romano, right from Rome, right? That little salty, little sharp cheese that everyone loves that flavor of. That's going to be like the backbone of the dish. Okay, I have some whole butter. Okay, very simple. You can see how we have our peppercorns. Don't forget those. Right? A little salt for our pasta water. Okay. And that's about it, right? Maybe a little more. I got some fresh peppercorns in our pepper mill to finish, top it off, garnish it. Okay? So, here's how we're going to proceed. Okay, we'll turn down our heat a little bit here. Slowly melt a little bit of butter. Okay. The key to this sauce is incorporating some of that starchy pasta water in there, and then letting that reduce down with the butter, with the black pepper. Put our just about cooked pasta in there. Let that absorb that liquid. Okay? When that's absorbed a lot of that liquid, then we're going to shut off the heat. We're going to fold in more butter, yes, more butter, and some more grated Romano cheese. This is going to create a creamy sauce much like the consistency of a carbonara without the egg yolk. Okay? All right, so slowly melting down the butter. Gonna put our peppercorns in there. Alright, slow that down for a little bit. As soon as this pasta water comes to a boil, pasta goes in maybe for about a minute. You want to scoop it out, toss it in here, and then get some of our pasta cooking water in there. Okay? Now, can this be made with other cheeses? Absolutely, right? If you're up in Emilia-Romagna area, you're going to use Parmigiano Reggiano. If you are in the northwest, in the Piedmont region, you're most likely going to use some Grana Padano. Okay? However, whatever cheese you use, that's going to be the star of the dish. You can make a mixture. You can put some Pecorino Romano, some Locatelli Romano, the Parmesan and the Grana, all three of them if you like. When you hear the word Pecorino, okay, the word pecor means sheep in Italian, so you know automatically anything with the name Pecorino is a sheep's milk cheese. Okay. If you go to Tuscany, they have a Pecorino Toscano, which is not a hard grating cheese. It's a very soft, sliceable, meltable cheese. Okay, it just means that it's a sheep milk cheese from Tuscany. Okay, just a little cheese lesson there. Okay. The aroma of that black pepper is already evident, okay? It's just going to be even more compounded with the flavor of that black pepper in the pasta. So here's a tip, if you don't like black pepper, this is not the dish for you, okay? All right, so I'm going to put my heat back on a little bit. And then I'm going to need my scoop, my pair of tongs. All right, so I'm ready for my pasta. I'm going to give that a little stir. Like I said, I am not going to leave it there long. It's going to finish cooking in this here. Okay, I'm going to ladle in. A little bit of that. Okay, so what you're really going to have is an emulsified sauce that's emulsified from the butter and the cheese going in there. Now as this cooks, you'll see little flecks of black pepper starting to float to the top, okay? It's going to happen. It's just the nature, okay? Because as the pasta cooks and releases, some of the black pepper leaches out, but don't forget it's in the water. So we're going to use some of that water to reflavor our pasta. Okay. All right, so now this is going right in. And we're going to toss this, and we're going to let it finish cooking in our sauce. Okay, and then as it absorbs that liquid, now keep your pasta water still close by. Don't get rid of it yet. At the end, you need to adjust your thickness with your sauce. You can use a little more of that pasta water. Toss, it's all well distributed. to obviously taste as I go along, just to make sure we're on the right track. So you can see, there's no exact science. Right? Now we want a little bit of liquid in there. That's nice. Okay. So what I'm going to do is shut off my heat. And I'm going to fold in some butter. Off the heat, you see how it's just let it melt till it gets creamy in there. I don't know if you can see that. That sauce is going to be so nice and creamy. And we're going to add some of that Romano cheese. So the result is a very velvety, smooth, right, just a touch more of this water. And now we have that creamy look to it, okay, that we come to associate with perfectly cooked sauces, reduced, okay, not watery. Okay, it clings to the pasta. Cheese won't hurt. Okay, so let's plate this up. So you can see how all that cheese and the butter just clings now to that sauce. We're going to finish it with a little bit of, no, let's do this. We're going to take some of, and we're going to grate a little bit right over the top. And a couple twists of freshly ground pepper. Okay, so now that's your finished product. Okay, very simple, very few ingredients, yet a Roman classic. Wow. You get that first bite of the black pepper, goes right to the back of your throat, a little tiny bit spicy, and then the cheese kicks in, the saltiness of the pasta water, and also that pasta being flavored with the black pepper carries that flavor all the way through. If I were you, I would make this right now, unless of course you don't have any power. I understand, but when the power comes back on, right, make this recipe. You'll be glad you did. Till next time, we'll see where our travels are going to take us across the regions of Italy. Thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao.